And that's what we're seeing. In order to get liberal media to pay attention to some of the things that they want to just sweep under the rug, we have to keep hammering it. And that was the case with Gruber. And you have to have catchy video, and you have to have a hook. It worked that way with video with Gruber, and it finally worked with the Lena Dunham case, and it finally worked with the UVA rape case because enough of a to do was made from, I don't know, conservative media, or I don't know if you really can call it that, alternate media, that is mostly conservative people looking at the stories that liberal media doesn't want to look at, and they are eventually forced to come to these stories late because if they did cover them earlier, they would have been mentioning it and then dismissing it because they're trying to make it be something that you can dismiss. And then when they discover, oh, actually, no, the audience isn't dismissing this, we need to cover it. And so then they end up flailing, and it's kind of interesting.
I think that in addition to that, I think that you posted today about what Ace of Spades said about the Gruber hearings, and something that needs to be pointed at a billion times because I'm sure there are going to be many a Mediaite article coming out soon that say Democrats lambast Gruber, Democrats destroy Gruber in hearing, when that's not what they were doing. It was the way that it was set up so that they were attacking his lies, the idea that he was lying about lying, that somehow he was just trying to be he was trying to puff himself up, that he's not, that he's some kind of idiot, that he was trying to make himself seem smarter than he actually is, that this whole thing was just that he wasn't speaking his mind, that he was trying to make himself appear more important, and that he was trying to make himself appear like a political genius or something like that. These guys are attacking Gruber in ways that, and this is classic from the left. Jon Stewart does this all the time, where he attacks only so much so that it makes the appearance that it's a real attack. What they're doing is they're just calling Gruber a liar for saying all these comments that are for sure not true. That he was just he was coming off as he was saying all these things just to make himself appear to be smarter than he actually is. Whatever, all of that stuff is nonsense. He was telling the truth. He was coming out and saying things that were actually fact, that he thought that were a part of this process.
Right, and they do the attack their own side, and I'm putting air quotes around it.
We heard those air quotes.
You've heard the air quotes, right?
We heard those air quotes.
And it was Elijah Cummings today going, oh, you're stupid. He said stupid. He called Gruber stupid about 12,000 times, and that might have been hyperbolic, but maybe. But he called him stupid just so that when it comes to day 2 of the story, the day 2 reaction from the left, and it's from Soros, and they'll have their talking points memos out there of, well, we agreed with you, and it's time to move on. This is how they put an end to the story. They will acknowledge that Gruber was stupid. They will acknowledge that he spoke inartfully or was glib, and we've acknowledged that, and it's time to move on. Are you still beating that old dead horse? Because we're told that they've covered it.
It's not going to work.
I hope not.
Trey Gowdy cornered him badly and just called him out and basically went at him again and again. By the way, I want to pass a law in Washington that Trey Gowdy is never again allowed to speak until I get popcorn. I mean, it's just, he's too good. He is too good. I mean, if we think about, no, there's no way he's in the mix, but if we think about somebody we'd really love to see in the debates in 2016, he leads the way. He really does.
Oh my God, would he be the most awesome press secretary?
Oh my gosh, he is. He is vicious. But what he was doing is, because he forced Gruber to keep going back to the glib, and it was embarrassing. Gruber kept falling back on this prepared, lawyered up. It was a glib, regrettable, whatever phrasing that I used, and so Gowdy just said, "Oh, just glib." So it just came out there again and again and again, and he kept repeating one quote after another quote after another quote after another quote, and he said, "Sir, which ones of these did you not mean?"
the phenomenon of moral elevation is such that the way you behave and what you reflect out onto society, other people will reflect back to you. And if you stand up straight and you make eye contact and smile with strangers, they're going to smile back, and they're going to carry that happiness